What's happening, guys? So, quick video about how I bet football for a living, and I probably know even less about football than 99% of people watching this video. And most people don't believe me when I say this. They think it's just some marketing ploy or something I'm saying for clicks. But it's true. And for some reason, and this is why I'm making this video, for some reason, people, even professional gamblers, even the few ones that are legit, they seem to treat football like a completely different sport. They bet it differently to how they bet other sports. So the average person who bets sport in general, there are a few things that they do which the bookies love. They bet favourites almost exclusively. Instead of taking an underdog, they'll just bet like 3 favourites in a parlay to try and get higher odds. So all the bookie has to do is make sure the odds are minus EV. Minus EV means negative expected value. That means if you keep playing it long term, you're going to lose money. Even if you have a high hit rate, because the return is going to still lose you money because the odds are too low. So the edge is usually on the underdog or the draw line, or sometimes both. But no one bets that way. No one bets that way. I don't know why, because if you look in the NBA, NFL, mixed martial arts, people do bet underdogs at a high rate. They know there's good value in it. But for football, for some reason, no one bets this way. So I started off just betting MMA, then I added other sports to my repertoire, can't get the word out, to my repertoire. As I started learning more about sports betting and realising, the markets all behave the same way. And football was the most obvious one because everyone bets the same way. Everyone's losing money betting football. I couldn't find any tipsters, any handicappers on Telegram, on YouTube, anywhere that were making money betting football. I found 1 or 2 people actually who were okay, but not really doing that well on it. All I did was apply the same principles from other sports to this. And the principles are: 1, check head-to-head record. Don't focus on recent trends. Recent trends, how a team's performing in the short term, gives you a false reading. It's recency bias. It doesn't show you how a team will actually perform. It's too small a sample size for you to actually make a good conclusion about how they're going to perform. Pundits, people online, they love to talk about this, and I believe pundits do it because it deliberately misleads people. You need to look at head-to-head data, how 2 teams match up against each other, because some teams are just a bad stylistic matchup for a much better team and they beat them. And this happens all the time. You'll see a favourite who should win and you think, how can they lose against this weaker team? But if you look at the head-to-head data, you'll see that the favourite loses every time, or draws, or just cannot beat this weaker team. Very common. And then the most important thing, look at the bet splits. Look at where the money is being bet in the market. If there's a massive underdog, let's say, 2.50 decimal odds, and they've got 90% of bets on them, the bookies think they're going to lose. Why is that important? Because the bookies make money doing this. They're not stupid. They've got an army of analysts. They've got millions of pounds, millions of dollars to spend making their lines correct. They're not going to be right all the time, but for the most part, they are correct. So you want to appreciate and be respectful of their opinion and use it against them. Go and do your research. Do I agree with them? If not, maybe I'm going to pass because I'm missing something. They're obviously seeing something I'm not seeing. But when you see, okay, I can see why they're doing that, because this team who should be a much bigger favourite, the reason they're not is because they lose every time against this opponent. Therefore, I'm going to bet against the public in that situation, and I'm going to take the underdog. No one does this. They'll just bet the favourite. They'll think, oh, those odds are great for the favourite, and they'll fall into the trap. Or they bet the favourite when they're another trap. When the odds are too high for a favourite and they actually are a trap, you're being baited into betting them at high odds. That's when people think they're getting good value. That's one kind of trap. Another kind of trap is when they just give you really poor odds and you bet it thinking, oh, they're going to win. I'll put it in a multi, or, I'll bet the handicap to inflate the line, when actually the odds are going to lose you money long term. And that's the most common trap that people fall for, and that's why they can't make money betting football.